insights, all the goodies, and everything you should be looking out for in football. Fifth possession, goals which is coming. I'm talking about Global Sports Analysis. Hi, welcome to the Global Sports Analysis. I am Madonnina Black as always. Now, we bring you another episode, which of course we would like to talk about historic rivalries in football. Most, of course, we have Barcelona versus Real Madrid, Manchester United versus Liverpool, and of course the iconic Italian clashes of football, which of course highlight some of the greatest rivalries that transcend beyond the pitch and carrying cultural, historical, and emotional significance that, of course, captivates fans around the world, from fairy Clásicos to passionate Northwest derbies and the legendary battles of Italian football. Now, this matchups for me, I believe they are more than just games. They represent clashes of values, regions, and legacies. So we'll move first to one of the standout rivalries of football, which of course is Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Now, this is what we call El Clásico, the rivalry between Barcelona and Real Madrid. As of course you know, it's famously known as El Clásico and is steeped in Spanish history and politics. It's more than just a battle between two of the greatest clubs in the world, but it's more about a symbol of cultural divide between Catalonia and Castile. Of course, the first El Clásico took place in 1902, making it the beginning of something really special, and it was a competition or a rivalry of the century with fierce competition. Now, of course, there were some political tensions behind this clash because during the Franco era, Barcelona became a symbol of Catalan resistance, while Real Madrid was seen as a representation of central government. Of course, during the period of Alfredo the Stefano saga, the rivalry intensified in the 1950s when both clubs fought to sign Alfredo Di Stefano. Real Madrid unfortunately ultimately secured his signature, further fueling animosity. Of course, now we would like to look at some memorable matches moving forward to that time. Now, in 1943, Copa del Rey Generalissimo semi-final saw Real Madrid defeat Barcelona 11-1, and that was a result shrouded in controversy and political undertone. Now, of course, we will take some notes that moving forward from that time in 2010, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, Barca saw that game out of 5-0 victory that was in November 2010. The Pep Guardiola Barcelona, which produced a masterclass at Camp Nou with goals from Pedro, David Villa, and of course Jeffren, if I can remember correctly. Now, this match was remembered for Jose Mourinho's humiliation as Real Madrid's manager. Of course, after that, there was Real Madrid in 2000, Real Madrid versus Barcelona in 2009 May. Was a 6-2 victory. Barcelona's tiki-taka brilliance was in full display as they dismantled Real Madrid at Bernabeu. Now, Lionel Messi was in that scoreline. Thierry Henry scored braces, while Gerard Puyol, Carlos Puyol, Gerard Piqué, of course, added to the rout. In 2022, we saw a victory of Barcelona to 4-0. That was under the Xavi management, and they delivered a statement win at the Bernabeu, featuring goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and contributions from Ferran Torres and Ronald Araujo. Now, in 2024, under the Hansi Flick era, 4-0 victory, which was stunned Real Madrid with goals from Robert Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, and of course Rafinha. Now, more recently in 2025, the Super Cup de España final, which was in Saudi Arabia, was a 5-2 victory. Barcelona secured a dominant victory, and of course it was just a full-blown victory. But of course, one of the things that I feel that makes this really special is the cultural significance of this rivalry. Now, El Clásico epitomizes the clash of Catalan independence and Madrid's centralism, making it more than just football rivalry, because Barcelona is seen as a symbol of Catalonia, representing the region's unique identity, language, and cultural heritage, which has often clashed with Madrid's central political ideology. And for many fans, supporting Barcelona is more than rooting for a football team. It's a declaration of regional pride and resistance against perceived oppression. Now, Real Madrid, on the other hand, is traditionally viewed as a representation of Spanish royalty, unity, and national authority, particularly during General Franco's regime. Now, the political undertone of this rivalry remains strong, with every clash between these two clubs viewed as a modern-day reenactment of political tension. Now, El Clásico also serves as a battleground for football and supremacy, which, of course, these are two of the world's wealthiest, but maybe not at the moment for Barcelona because they're facing some financial challenges. But in some respect, they are the two biggest clubs and one of the most successful clubs, and the rivalry is fueled by their constant pursuits for dominance in La Liga, Europe, and globally. And the cultural significance transcends the pitch. The rivalry reflects the social, political, and economic divides, with Spain being the heart of it all. It's more than just 3 points. It's more than a trophy. It's a victory that stands and makes everyone feel like a vindication of values, identity, and leaving an indelible mark on fans and players alike. Now we move to England, Manchester United versus Liverpool. Now, the Northwest Derby, it's a rivalry that represents the clash between England's two most successful football clubs, and it's fueled by competition, proximity, and the deep-seated animosity between the two cities of Manchester and Liverpool. Of course, the rivalry began in 1894 when Liverpool defeated Newton Heath, which was later renamed as Manchester United, in a test match to secure promotion to the First Division. Of course, it has its own economic rivalry, and that was because of the construction of the Manchester Ship Canal in the late 19th century, which bypassed Liverpool's port creation, and which of course created tension between the two cities, and that of course later spilled into the world of football. Now, we, of course, must have seen the dominance of these games because Liverpool dominated English football in the 1970s and 1980s, while Manchester United rose to prominence under Sir Alex Ferguson in the 1990s. Of course, we have memorable matches. One of the most recent in 2023, a 7-0 victory over Manchester United. Liverpool came out tops, remaining one of the most lopsided results in the rivalry's history. Now, of course, Manchester United have won in those clashes. In 1999 FA Cup fourth round, United's comeback led by Dwight Yorke and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer added to their historic treble-winning season. Of course, in 2009, we saw Liverpool edge past Manchester United in a 4-1 victory at Old Trafford during Rafael Benitez's regime. In 2022, a dominant display, Manchester United won, Liverpool 4 under Klopp's regime. So, of course, all of this definitely has its own cultural significance because the Northwest Derby represents more than just football. It's rooted in pride, in legacy, in history. And Liverpool and Manchester United symbolize England's footballing success, striving to outshine each other on and off the pitch because each club's fans bring a match intensity to the rivalry, making it a cultural phenomenon and an emotional spectacle. For many fans, this match is not just about league points. They are about proving supremacy and defending the honor of the city. Now, we move to Italy, which of course has one of the most iconic rivalries because Italian football is renowned for its passionate fans, tactical battles, and historic rivalries. Now, this clashes are deeply rooted in regional pride, cultural differences, and decades of competition. We would move on to what we would call what is known as Derby della Madonnina, AC Milan versus Inter Milan. Of course, that rivalry began in 1908 when Inter was formed as a breakaway club from AC Milan due to disagreements over the inclusion of foreign players. Now, in 2003, UEFA Champions League semi-finals between the two clubs remained one of the most intense encounters, with AC Milan advancing on away goals. This definitely has some cultural significance because the derby represents a clash of identities, with AC Milan traditionally associated with working class roots and Inter seen as a club for the bourgeoisie. Now, we move to what we would, what also is referred to as Derby della Capitale. That's, of course, AS Roma versus Lazio. The rivalry began in 1929 and has been fueled by the club's shared home city, and of course, the contrasting fan base. Now, in 2000, Coppa Italia final, won by Lazio, and Francesco Totti's iconic celebration in 2015, of course, has highlighted a fiery derby. Now, the derby reflects the social-political divides within Rome, and with its fans using this match as a platform to express their identity and pride. It's one that is always very, very, very intense. Now, of course, one of the standouts rivalries in Italy is Derby d'Italia. That is Juventus versus Inter Milan. Now, the rivalry gained prominence in the 1960s and has been marked by controversial moments, including the infamous Clásico scandal in 2006. Of course, we would look at memorable matches, which was the 1998 clash, remembered for Ronaldo's controversial penalty appeal, which remains a strong talking point among fans. Now, definitely this has its own cultural significance, and this rivalry symbolizes the battle for national dominance, with Juventus representing Turin and Inter Milan embodying Milan's footballing pride. Now, the question is why these rivalries matter. I believe that these rivalries are more than just football. They are cultural phenomena. They are a cultural phenomenon. They ignite passion, they shape identities, and create unforgettable moments because they are passed down through generations, whether it's tactical brilliance of El Clásico, the emotional intensity of the Northwest Derby, or the fierce clashes of Italian football. These matchups define the essence of the beautiful game of football. Now, I want to ask you in the comment section, which rivalry resonates most with you? Let me know, and let's know if you want us to dive deeper into legendary players, iconic goals, or dramatic moments that, of course, stood out for you and make these matches unforgettable. Now, of course, till we meet again on the Global Sports Analysis, I am Adeyinka Black, and of course would love to see your comments and would love to see what your takes about this rivalries, what clubs you support, and why you think this discussion really matters. Until we meet again on the next episode, I want to say stay safe and keep loving the beautiful game of football. Cheers. All the insights, all the goodies, and everything you should be looking out for in football. Fifth possession, the goals which is coming. I'm talking about Global Sports Analysis.